Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How we doing today? I am doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you for coming back and hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate this. It's been a very interesting last few days, and I've learned a lot, um, and I'm just so appreciative of all of you, and I mean all of you. And I'm excited to get back to what has been such a wonderful journey, and that is to learn about and see things that I didn't know about the UK, and it's so I'm really anxious to get back into it. Today's video is the 10 oldest cities in the UK, and this has come requested by a grip load of people. So this is a good one. It is by Alex in Great Britain. That's the channel. Of course, like always, there'll be links below. One to the channel, one to this video. So if you don't want to hear me waffle, I encourage you either fast forward, just take that slider, fast forward, or go watch the original, which is what I encourage you to do. You should go watch the original, come back, hang out with me, and of course, like always, and it's just one thing that has been shown over the last few days is I can learn a lot from a lot of people, and that is why I have just thoroughly enjoyed this channel. And so, thank you to all of you. Got a big fake couch here. Would love for you to come join me. And maybe some on this list is not something you would have thought of. And I would love to know if you've been to any of these places. I'm sure many of them are well known. One of the things I know there's a classification of what constitutes a city, and I'm not quite sure how those. So maybe he'll explain it before as the video starts. But let's learn something today, shall we? All right, let's do it.
So what are the oldest cities in the United Kingdom? Well, there are 10 that are so old that they predate the record books themselves and are said to have held their city status since time immemorial. Before I dive into the list, though, I should explain briefly what constitutes a city in the UK.
Here we go.
In short, there are two kinds: those with an Anglican cathedral, which alone qualifies them by ancient prescriptive right, and those who were granted city status following an application. The latter kind came about during Queen Victoria's reign, where many industrial towns became cities. But we're here to focus on the former, specifically those whose founding date is unknown, mostly on account of the poor record keeping of the Saxons. For perspective, the oldest UK city with a definitive date is believed to be Durham, founded in AD 995, assuming the records of the time are accurate. So the 10 oldest cities, in order from north to south, rather than chronological order, as that part is unknown, are as follows. Number 1. Originally a Roman settlement founded in AD 71 under the name Eboracum, the city of York is situated at the confluence of the River Ouse and River Foss, and it became a suitable outpost at which the Romans could suppress the local tribe, the Brigantes. In the 4th century, Emperor Constantine the Great was declared Roman Emperor in York, and he became the first to allow Christians to worship freely, and by the year 314, Eboracum had its first bishop. In the 7th century, the Saxons came and named it Eoforwic, with the wic suffix suggesting that it was a trading centre. In 601, Pope Gregory sent a mission to convert the British to Christianity. He selected York to be the church's centre in the north. In 735, York became an archbishopric. In AD 866, the Danish Vikings conquered Eoforwic and put their own Scandinavian spin on it, naming it Jorvik, and made it their effective capital in the British Isles. Its iconic cathedral, York Minster, or to give it its official name, the Cathedral and Metropolitical Church of St. Peter in York, was consecrated in 1472 on the site of an old Saxon church believed to date from the 7th century, which in turn was on the site of the old Roman Basilica. This is, of course, the seat of the Archbishop of York. Number 2.
Wow, yeah, York. That is definitely one of the places I would love to see. Um, York Minster, I can understand when that's a long name. It's official name. I can see why York Minster stuck. Makes it easier to identify. But he must be out there really early in the morning because looking how empty the streets are. But just absolutely stunning um, with the architecture and that cathedral is just amazing, amazing. A lot of these places are going to be. This could, I have a feeling, be my top 10 places I want to visit already, wrapped up in a nice little package here. Just, yeah, right out of the gate, York, definitely.
In the 6th century, St. Dainiol founded a monastery in a settlement in the area we now refer to as North Wales. This became known as Bangor, meaning wattled enclosure in Old Welsh. Dainiol became the first bishop of Bangor in the Kingdom of Gwynedd. On the site of the original monastery is Bangor Cathedral, which was built in the 12th and 13th centuries. Restorations took place over the centuries following various attacks, including one instance when King John destroyed it during a raid on Gwynedd. Bangor is the oldest city in Wales, or to put it another way, the oldest city in the UK outside of England. Number 3. In the 7th century, St.
Before we move on to 3, I'm happy to see that Wales get some love here. Bangor, I believe I've heard of that town, city. Looks amazing. Um, it's the oldest city in Wales. Okay. Yeah. God, I just wish I had. I wish I had unlimited time to just be able to go all over. Gosh, that would just be. I wish I was, 20 years younger, a lot more wealthier, and I could just travel to all these places. It's just, yeah, just awesome.
Chad, Bishop of Mercia, declared this city his bishop's seat. The settlement was Lichfield, and it became the focal point of Christianity in the Kingdom of Mercia.
I've
Following
heard of
Chad's death
Litchfield.
in 672, Lichfield became a place of pilgrimage. A Saxon church was built, which became his resting place. In the same spot, the Normans built a new cathedral from the year 1085. The construction of the present cathedral began.
Whoa! Look at that! Wow! I love. It's just the awe-inspiring angles of at the end of the street. You see this just beautiful. Just so cool looking. Dang.
Began in 1195, featuring the UK's only medieval triple spire. Number 4. Very little is known about the Roman history of this city, but the Saxon settlers discovered a fort here and named it Weogorna Sestra, though the meaning of Weogorna is unclear. Nevertheless, the name evolved to Worcester. In the 7th century, the first cathedral at Worcester was built, which became the seat of the Bishop of the Hwickers. Hwicker was a tribal kingdom existing from the 6th to the 8th century, situated around the area equating approximately to parts of Worcestershire, Warwickshire, and Gloucestershire of today. Worcester was its capital. With the Viking invasion and subsequent establishment of the Danelaw in the 9th century, Worcester became a burh, i.e. a fortified settlement, as part of a move by King Ethelred and his wife Ethelfled to solidify the kingdom of Mercia against the Danish threat to the east. From the late 11th to the 16th century, a second cathedral was built in Worcester in a range of architectural styles from Norman to Perpendicular Gothic. Number 5.
I like it. I like it. Worcester. I know I'm going to come clean. Originally, I would have said Worcester. Um, Worcester. Um, I think, yeah, I would have obviously never have guessed that, obviously. But it's just, I don't know if I'd ever get there. That's the problem. But just like we've been seeing in the Prettiest Town series, it's you see kind of some similarities with things, but you just know they're different. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes much sense, but it's just impressive. I guess is what I'm saying. It's just very impressive. Really cool.
In the 7th century, Bishop Putter became the first bishop of this city and is believed to have been responsible for the construction of the first cathedral here. The city is Hereford. The name
Hereford.
Hereford is believed to derive from Old English for army river crossing. It
Huh.
was a frontier settlement which saw various conflicts between the Anglo-Saxons and not only the native Welsh but the Danes as well. In 1079, the Normans began the construction of the current Hereford Cathedral.
That's beautiful. Now, Hereford. Now, isn't there a county? And please correct me, because I know you will, but that's what I love about all of you. Herefordshire, right? Um, as a prettiest, I think I think I'm pronouncing that right. So this is known as a county town or county city. What would be the name you would give the the city that the county is actually named from or something? I don't know. Or maybe it's vice versa. I don't know. But just gorgeous. Absolutely stunning.
On the site of its Saxon predecessor, work continued into the 13th century. Number 6. Now, here's where things get a bit technical. In the eyes of the law, the City of London, with emphasis on the city, refers to the approximate area the Romans inhabited from the 1st century AD, also called the square mile. This is actually both a city and a ceremonial county in its own right, and an enclave surrounded by the ceremonial county of Greater London. In the 9th century, Alfred the Great is believed to have come across the old Roman fortifications and turned it into a Saxon fortified settlement that could better withstand Viking attacks than the previous base, believed to be around the Covent Garden area, with 2 street names of today providing clues, as in Old English, Strand means beach and Aldwych means old trading centre. Following the establishment of the Archdiocese of Canterbury, a cathedral was constructed in London in the 7th century and was dedicated to St Paul. This has gone through various iterations up to the present structure designed by Christopher Wren in the aftermath of the Great Fire of 1666. Number 7. Before the Romans came, this area was home to a tribe known as the Cantiaci, from which the name of both the city and its county, Kent, derive. The city, of course, being Canterbury. After the Claudian invasion of AD 43, the
Canterbury.
Romans established a military base which they called Duravernum Cantiacorum. This became the principal trading centre for the surrounding area. Around AD 270, defensive walls were put in place, which remain in place to this day, albeit with various reworkings. In the 6th century, the Jutes established the Kingdom of Kent, with Canterbury becoming its capital. In AD 597, St. Augustine arrived in England on a mission to convert its inhabitants to Christianity. In doing so, Augustine became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. By the 9th century, it was firmly established as the centre of the English Church. This did, however, mark it out as a target for the Danish Vikings across multiple generations.
Oh, look at that.
In 1011,
Yes.
Canterbury Cathedral was burnt following the...
Is it me, or does that just look like it's slanted there? It's such a unique building. Wow, Canterbury.
Capture of Archbishop Althege. The cathedral was rebuilt and subsequently burnt on 2 more occasions before being built in stone. It was the site of the martyrdom of Thomas Becket in 1170 by the Knights of Henry II, and subsequently became a place of pilgrimage. Number 8. England's smallest city is also among its oldest. Named after the wells in the grounds of the Bishop's Palace and the cathedral, the city of Wells is believed to have originated as a small Roman settlement. In the early 8th century, King Ine of Wessex chose Wells as the site of a minster church. By the early 10th century, the Diocese of Wells had been founded by King Edward the Elder. This diocese moved to Bath in the Norman period, but as a compromise, a joint diocese was later set up between the two, but officially returned exclusively to Wells in the 13th century, several decades after the construction had begun on Wells Cathedral.
That's incredible. Dang. You don't think it's pretty remarkable that I have seen many of these over the time that we've been hanging out. And it's still, when you see one, I don't know if I've done anything really on Wells before. And so when you see it for the first time, you're still taken aback by just, I mean, one, the craftsmanship, the men who built this is just incredible. It's just, they're just giants that stand above everything else. It's just incredible.
Number 9. The first inhabitants of this city are believed to be the Belgae tribe. The Romans arrived here shortly after the Claudian invasion of AD 43 and established their own settlement, which they called Venta Belgarum. The meaning of Venta is uncertain, but believed to be a Brythonic word for market. When the Saxons discovered the abandoned Roman settlement, they named it Venta Casta, meaning Fort of Venta, which evolved into Winchester. In the 7th century, a church was built here, and in AD 676, the Bishop of Wessex moved his seat to Winchester, effectively making it a cathedral. The Normans would later demolish this in the late 11th century and begin to build in its place the present Winchester Cathedral, although work continued until the 16th century. In AD 871, Alfred the Great was crowned King of Wessex and established Winchester as its capital. When England became united as a single kingdom in the 10th century, Winchester remained the capital until the 12th century. Number 10. In the 1st century AD, the Romans ventured into an area of the southwestern British Isles, where they founded Isca Dumnoniorum, a name which references the Dumnoni tribe who predated the Romans, and to whom the county Devon is named after. The city was, of course, Exeter, and was situated at the southwestern terminus of the ancient Roman road known as the Fosse Way. In the 7th century, the Saxons settled in the ruins of the abandoned Roman settlement, which they named Escancester, whose name evolved to Exeter. Having been subject to various Viking attacks, it was fortified in the 10th century by King Athelstan. In the year 1003, disaster struck as the Vikings plundered the city after they were let in through the gates. Although more or less
Uh,
reduced to rubble, Exeter recovered, and by 1050, Exeter Cathedral was founded. From the early 12th century, it was rebuilt by the Normans.
Beautiful.
And those are the 10 oldest cities in the United Kingdom as it pertains to city status. And to reiterate, in no particular chronological order, as their dates of foundation will remain a mystery. If you enjoyed this video, feel free
I
to like and
did.
subscribe.
Thank you,
All the
Alex.
footage featured comes courtesy of my flagship channel, 4K Explorer. So if you'd like to see the complete walks of these cities, you can find a link to the channel in the description below. Have a great day.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Alex. Please go and support his channel. The links will take you there. If you have one subscription or one like today, please give it to Alex. Speaking of subscriptions, thank you again. We reached 10,000. It's hard to believe. Um, it's starting to drop back, so we may have this little celebration a few times as we drop below 10,000 and then maybe get back above it, and then we'll drop below. We'll kind of hover around it, I'm sure, for a while. But I am just truly blessed that all of you have been with me, and I really do mean all of you. Um, our channel is just it's wonderful, and I've gotten a lot of wonderful messages, emails, and people um, who are in our family here. I should be sending all of you emails because you're the reason why I'm here. You're the reason I get to see and learn these things, and I should be saying thank you to you. I'm just grateful, so I appreciate it. Are some of these towns surprises to me? Towns, I keep saying towns. It's a habit of mine just to, like, I'll call New York City a town, Los Angeles a town. It's just out of habit. I apologize. But a lot of these cities, are there any surprises? Yeah, maybe. Wells, Litchfield, um, Hereford. I always have tongue tie on that one. There's probably some. I guess I going into it, you're thinking oldest that they're going to be the biggest. I guess is where I'm wrong in associating those two. Did learn, and I know I've learned this in the past, but it always kind of slips my mind of how cities are designated cathedral, and then later in the Queen Victoria era, where she would give them city status. I know you'll have to, and there's something kind of funky with Birmingham um, on whether or not, I know it's a city, but it doesn't have a cathedral, or maybe at the time there was something. I don't know. For whatever reason, there's something in my mind that's saying there was something going on with Birmingham. But a lot of these places I would love to visit. York, of course. He mentioned at the very beginning Durham. That was like 880 something. Oh, my lord. Just incredible. But here's the thing: every place where you live is old, is ancient, and so getting a list of top 10. And I love the fact that Bangor, am I saying it right, from Wales, is in the list here. Oldest city outside of England. Um, really, really cool. And you can tell it's just it's just it's just brief looks into each town, but you can just tell it's not in England, right? It's it's just interesting how a lot of these places have similar attributes, but they're with the maybe like Tudor style architecture, or and then to Victorian era, and but it's just they're all just having their own charm, and I hate to just keep going back on it, but the cathedrals are just, they're just amazing. They just are. I hope everybody is happy, healthy, and safe. I really do. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you. I really do. And I am so happy that I've gotten to know a few of you. And it's just been wonderful. It really has. Have a great day. Hopefully I'll get to see you in the next video. And again, thank you for the milestone. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. And he's from